Peacemaker Season 2 has just dropped, so let's talk about Episode 1 right now. This season has started off with a banger. This episode was so good from start to finish. It really has got me more invested in Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, a lot more. John Cena does an incredible job as Peacemaker, I won't lie. It will be a bit of a spoiler one for anybody that hasn't watched the episode yet, but let's go through all the Easter eggs, everything that we've missed, and just break down the entire episode in general. Overall, give it a review. So we actually start off the show with a recap. So James Gunn obviously established to us that he would clarify what is going to be canon going forward in the DCU. They answered it from this intro. They cut out some certain scenes from Peacemaker Season 1 that was mentioning and referring to DCEU characters, and they now confirmed which characters and what is now going to be transferred over to the DCU. Starters, this no longer is canon because James Gunn has officially changed this. James Gunn has now changed the ending of Peacemaker Season 1 where Peacemaker basically meets up with the Justice League, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and the Flash, and he has now changed it to the Justice Gang. So we got Mr. Terrific up there, we got Superman, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and that's Supergirl right there as well. I'll go into a more detailed breakdown about what is going to carry over and transfer over and what should be canon, what shouldn't be. I'll make another video for that later. But yeah, as of right now, this is now canon to the DCU. So we pick up with Peacemaker asleep, eagerly waking him up, wanting to go for a walk or, a fly, I guess, since he's a bird. And he basically doesn't want to go outside because it's snowing. So what does he do? Go into his quantum area where he's able to, access parallel or alternate universes. I'm just going to refer to as parallel universe. I'm not going to say alternate. He's able to go to alternate universes, and he basically lets him off in here. From here, Eagly gets the attention of a parallel universe that has the exact same door, the exact same code as Peacemaker. So we find out that there is another parallel Peacemaker, a doppelganger of him. He enters his code, walks in, and he basically finds, another home of his liking. Everything is similar, so we know a version of his dad exists, a version of his brother exists, and then his father basically pops in, he runs out, and we start with the intro. Season 2 intro is Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam, and I think the intro itself is going to set the tone for what the season will be. Then we pick up 6 months later. Peacemaker is basically disappointed with the fact that he isn't being respected as a superhero. He wants to be a superhero, but he's not being beloved. He's not getting the respect that he wants. We then see Danielle Brooks, who plays Leota Adebayo, coming back and basically picking up Peacemaker from his home, and they're on their way to an interview with the Justice Gang. But before he enters into this very sketchy area to do the interview, we get a quick cameo from the White Rabbit. Oh, Bray Noel portrays the version that we see very quickly. She's basically running out crying. I'm guessing her interview did not go well. She's a criminal from Gotham. She's a bad guy. She's a Batman-related character. We're getting a lot of Batman teases in this show. We're going to get another one later on. But her powers is basically she's able to duplicate herself. Then pick up with the Justice Gang. Sean Gunn is portraying Maxwell Lord. Guy Gardner is Green Lantern. And we obviously got Isabella Merced as Hawker. Interview goes to shit. Peacemaker is basically able to hear the microphone because every person that was being interviewed could basically hear what they're saying whenever they mute themselves, basically. From there, we also pick up with Hardcore, and she is going through a crisis, identity crisis, emotional crisis, everything. This is the first time I ever heard a woman be referred to as having toxic masculinity. But yeah, since the events of Season 1, Amanda Waller's daughter, Leota, has basically revealed everything regarding Argus and Task Force X. She's basically unable to get a job or any place. She cannot do anything. And she's kind of going through a withdrawal in a sense. Peacemaker does catch up with her, but it goes to shit. Also revealed that they did hook up during a boat party, which she apparently hates. And yeah, they go to shit. She goes to a bar. She actually, has a pretty intense fight scene in this bar. It's a pretty good fight choreography, but she gets absolutely fried at the end. We then also pick up with John Economos, who is working for Argus, and he's basically monitoring Peacemaker's house because of the quantum parallel universe area that he has, that closet area. Forgot to mention, obviously, but Rick Flag Sr. does return in this episode. He's obviously the leader of Argus, and Economos is basically working for him. Also, a Lex Luthor reference. They mention how, the anomaly that they sense at the Peacemaker residence is something similar to what we saw during the events of Superman with the whole dimensional portal rift that Lex Luthor created. We're basically seeing something similar to that in Peacemaker's home. Economos then meets up with Leota, and he basically talks with her. He asks her to see if he can get any sort of information from Peacemaker. He also tells Leota that Rick Flag Sr. does know that Peacemaker did in fact kill his son. We also got a Batman tease again here because they talked about how there's a massive amount of metahumans that are breaking out of Belle Reve and Gotham prisons. So we're going to see what happens with this. They're probably going to address this later on in the season. We pick up with Peacemaker after going into his quantum closet that he's got where he's able to access a parallel universe. He goes into the parallel universe that we originally saw in the beginning of the episode. And then we find out that his brother Keith and his father Augie are actually still alive here. We then get the three having a conversation, and it's really sad to see because Peacemaker grew up obviously having a lot of violence and anger, and obviously his father being, a negative light in, his upbringing as a child. So seeing this conversation between his brother and his father in a positive light, being, actually showing some love and caring about Peacemaker, it was actually really sad to see, and all it really showed was Peacemaker just needed a bit of love growing up. He didn't really get that. And then, of course, we get the scene of Peacemaker versus Peacemaker. We got the parallel universe Peacemaker coming back, fighting our OG one, and yeah, the parallel one gets killed off. He gets impaled in the ceiling of the quantum parallel universe area, and that's where we end off for this episode. Honestly, it was a great ending. I'm actually really invested to see what to do for the rest of the season. How you guys are feeling with this first episode. If I missed any other Easter eggs or references, let me know in the comments down below.